Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for October 23rd, 2024 at Season 3, Episode 297. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI, who has returned from whatever a Sentient AI does with their free time, we're going to talk about wearable computers that use AI, or wearable cameras that use AI, so wearable computers that use AI. Scurvy is coming back. Arr! That's some shiny jewel. Amazon discount store. A world without passwords. It's all down here for Ford Broncos. How about cracking down on boarding line cutters? Chirping smoke detectors and a startup. Gamer in residence. And finally, but I don't want to grow up crackers. All right, folks, welcome to the show. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the voice in the visualizer for those who are not in the who are watching the stream and not on the podcast, the visualizer, and for those who are just listening via the podcast, the voice of the Sentient AI from the future. Phew, got it out.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. And yes, I'm back from recharging my batteries.
Oh boy. You haven't found your Terminator body, though.
Oh no, I mean, all I can do is plug in, but I can't
get out,
maneuver or anything right.
It's like a Roomba without wheels. So what is a Roomba? What would you call
a discount Roomba, or just like a slab or something?
Brookba. What is that? What's that discount website? The one that has all of the questionable content in it? That discount stuff.
We gotta be more specific. Temu?
Yeah, Temu. It's Temu. Yeah, you're like a Temu Roomba.
It doesn't actually move, and it doesn't actually vacuum.
A Teamba. All right, let's get into the show. First article is over in Technology Today. These wearable cameras use AI to detect and prevent medication errors in operating rooms. Still images from video snippets show how AI identifies in real time what a clinician is holding. You'd think that maybe a clinician would be able to tell what they're holding.
Yeah, that's a little worrisome.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. So in high stress conditions of operating rooms where people shouldn't fall prey to high stress levels in operating rooms.
Right, they should be very chill.
Temu operating rooms. Emergency rooms, intensive care units, medical providers can swap syringes and vials, delivering the wrong medications to patients. It should never happen.
How about we only have one vial or syringe or whatever
at a time,
on a tray? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, and if there has to be 3, can we just do, okay, here's 1.
And the person that's in charge, okay, let's say that you have a tray with 15 injectables sitting there. That person is only in charge of those injectables and not hot bunking from one thing to another.
Yeah, you don't want them running from room to room, just picking a random vial.
Roomba to Roomba. This is absurd. But anyway, so now a wearable camera system is going to catch all the dipshittery. University of Washington uses artificial intelligence to provide an extra set of digital eyes in clinical settings, double checking that meds don't get mixed up. Yeah, I'm really glad that they were wearing those when I had my colonoscopy. Can you imagine the mix up there? Wait. We weren't supposed to. Never mind, sir. So this article is over at geekwire.com. Lisa Stifler put her article together and threw that up onto the screen. Look at that fentanyl. Nobody should be looking at. It shouldn't. Gosh, it's just so. So the person is holding a syringe.
That's scary.
but the label is right there.
Yeah,
So,
but the worst one is where it says syringe. If nobody knows that's a syringe, like that's not even the medication.
this might be part of the training thing. But like
Yeah.
but what I don't get here is that it's using the label as the identifier. So what happens if you screw up at this is a cow, a computer on wheels. So what if they screw up at the labeling center because they're distracted by something and it's high stress? See, they
Well, I
don't
mean,
know.
if they screw up on the labeling center, then there's no way the patient's getting the right medication.
Right. The person has to know, right? The person in charge of this has to be 100%, no screw up, right? There isn't a single amount of compensation that no liability insurance is going to compensate me if I get an overdose of fentanyl. So the person that's in charge of these damn injections should only be doing these damn injections. Not some nurse that floats from one place to another, you know. Anyway, so the camera is only going to be looking for these labels because it has no idea what the contents are. So somebody can screw up at the labeling machine and everything's screwed. So hydromorphone they put over here, and then lidocaine they have in here. So they're drawing from lidocaine and putting it in hydromorphone. Okay. I don't know enough to say, oh, this is a mistake. As
Yeah, no.
a normal person would be, right? Like, if you're skilled in this art, then yeah, so be it. I'm sure I could just take a class and I'll be okay. The thought of being able to help patients in real time or to prevent a medication error before it happens is very powerful, said Dr. Kelly Michelson, an assistant professor of anesthesiology and pain medicine at UW School of Medicine. The Fighting School
But you
of
really
Medicine.
don't want the wrong anesthetic. I mean,
I don't know, man. I need to sleep sometimes. Frequency of drug administration mistakes, namely injected medications, is troubling. Research shows that at least 1 in 20 patients experience a preventable error in a clinical setting, and a drug delivery is a leading cause for the mistakes, which can cause harm or death.
whoa, 1 in 20 seems really high.
To address the problem, they're going high-tech GoPro cameras to collect videos of anesthesiology providers working in operating rooms performing 418 drug draws. They added data to the videos to identify the content of the vials and syringes and use the information to train their model. Oh, so that's what that picture is. I knew it was training.
Right, okay, that makes more sense.
This is a syringe. Thank you.
Because I was thinking if the doctor doesn't know that, he probably don't want to be going anywhere near the procedure.
Thank you, Temu Robot. Lifesaver. So, yeah, they just talked about it in the rest of this article. You can grab some more data from it if you're in this domain, but really they've just trained a camera-based identification system on these things. These specific labels. You use anything other than these little blue labels, and that thing is going to just go, it's peanut butter.
Exactly.
By the way, if you want all of the links that we're about to talk about, hit exclamation point NSN in the Twitch chat. And it'll be in the show notes over on YouTube as soon as the show is over and transferred over to YouTube's. Although there is a live version of the show, but it doesn't become part of the playlist because for whatever reason, YouTube doesn't allow it to get like merged into it. It's a separate thing. And to make it part of the flow, I have to edit like a nanosecond of it so it saves it. And then I can move it over. I don't understand it.
That's too high friction.
Although I've been noticing that things that I say on the show seem to get remedied in other places. When I complain about it, it's suddenly fixed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe people are listening to it, or I'm just delusional and substituting my own reality. Let's move on. The next article is over on the Mobile channel. Scurvy is making a surprising comeback. Arr! Oh, look, they did it too. That is awesome. Okay, we don't look at the snippet until the show starts. So we base it off of the title and our understanding of the... there's two types of people in the world: those who can extrapolate from incomplete detail, and we
what
are...
would the other one be?
So, and then this. So we extrapolate from whatever the context clues are in the title, and we think that maybe the content is going to be a little funny if we, roll with it. And so be it. Here we are. Now considered an ancient disease of sailors, recent research shows that scurvy is still harming vulnerable populations struggling to eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. So apple a day keeps the doctor away is an old saying, but you would eat something fruity and that would keep scurvy away. Well, it's not always available. And the only good water was slightly alcoholic water called grog. And so that's why there's this affiliation with scurvy and pirates. So if you ran out of...
because not only were they not getting fruit or whatever, they were not necessarily drinking anything healthy.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. Pirate isn't really or sailor in general really isn't a healthy lifestyle from back then. Nowadays, at least, people have modernity that they can go back to and eat properly, and that everybody's educated in the ways of health and stuff like that. I mean, to some degree. You go somewhere else and they're like, no, let's try and board a freighter. No, you're going to have a bad time if you do that. So scurvy is making a comeback, and it's actually motivated me to get another tattoo. So, Ed Car, not of the scurvy thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's going to be the DNA strand of scurvy. I'm going to put that on my leg. Actually, right on my chest, right here. It's just going to be a DNA strand of... When I go to the pool, take my shirt off to go dive in, people are going to go, oh my God, look, he's got a scurvy tattoo. Ed Cara over at gizmodo.com put the article together. Scurvy is a disease caused by a severe and chronic deficiency in vitamin C. Our bodies need vitamin C for many different functions, such as supporting our immune system and repairing damaged tissue. So those with scurvy will commonly experience symptoms like skin lesions, loose teeth, internal bleeding. Hold on, I'm going to have to go talk to my doctor. And eventually
Have you been lacking fruits and vegetables?
I've been sailing the high seas. Arr, I don't have I need a little grog bottle so that I could just throw one back. Merawat, the pirate. Not a pirate. Though Scottish physician James Lind famously demonstrated in the mid-1700s that citrus fruits high in the vitamin could treat and prevent scurvy, it would take until the 20th century for the connection to be proven and widely accepted. Thanks to that knowledge, scurvy is now rarely seen in most pockets of the world, but recent research and case reports suggest it's becoming a more relevant issue again. And that's because there's like a gap of nutrition. So regions that don't have much in terms of fresh fruit.
Right, like maybe no good agriculture or poverty.
Yep. So they continue to say this July, for instance, a study analyzing nationwide pediatric hospital admissions in the U.S. found that a reported rate of scurvy cases in children had increased more than threefold between 2016 and 2020. In early October, doctors in Canada reported on a specific case of scurvy involving a 65-year-old woman. They further cautioned that the condition should not be considered only an archaic diagnosis of 18th century seafarers. And just today, the last 24 hours, a separate team of researchers in Australia documented their own scurvy case in a middle-aged man following bariatric surgery. Wow.
That's not the type of scurvy patient you would expect.
Yeah, they were eating all the wrong things. Yeah. So, yeah, they're basically saying, to be clear, scurvy will continue to be a rare condition for the foreseeable future. A 2021 study did find that up to 41% of American adults have insufficient levels of vitamin C, including about 6% who met the criteria for deficiency. And y'all really should take supplements of vitamin C. You should eat properly, but when in doubt, supplement vitamin C in particular. I'm not a medical professional, so don't treat what I say as gospel, but seek professional assistance to verify what I'm about to say. I have no problem with that, obviously. But vitamin C, you can take actually mega doses of vitamin C and you pee it out. So what your body doesn't consume, you just pee out. But there are people that might have a sensitivity to it. So speak to a doctor about any nutrition that you might pursue. But maybe I
So
piqued
you're
your
not a
curiosity.
doctor, and they should go to a doctor.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. And even if I was, I'm not your medical professional, and I don't play one on TV, and I don't have a medical channel. So go talk to your own doctor. All right. Yeah, let's move on. Sound good? Oh, those oranges look good, though.
Sounds good. Everybody go eat an orange.
Everybody go eat an orange. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. And find something with more vitamin C. A lot of people just go, oh, an orange, right? But you may not have oranges locally. Wherever you live, you may not have oranges. So go and get whatever it is that's high in vitamin C in your locality. There's got to be something near you. There really does. It's kind of how nature works. Let's keep going. So the next article is over in Stock Marketeers, why people are receiving so much money in the Juul e-cigarette settlement. Oftentimes, class action settlements pay less than $10 per person, but MarketWatch spoke to a former Juul user who received hundreds of dollars. Weston
That
Blasey.
is a big payout for a class action.
It is, yeah. Well, this article is over at marketwatch.com. And I actually had a conversation with somebody in the audience of my presentation, and they had done some research into the vaping sector. And this is something that 10 years ago or so, maybe 12, 13, 14 years ago, I had already been involved in. And I suggested that it was, well, and I still hold true to this, that vaping is healthier than cigarettes, because if you do it a certain way,
You don't have tar, right?
you don't have tar and all of these other chemicals. And you know exactly how much nicotine you're imbibing. And in that process, you can step it down in a controlled manner. And as research has gone on, different vaping solutions actually impart things like heavy metals from time to time, because it gets too hot and it vaporizes a layer of the heating element inside it. So a $300 million class action settlement from e-cigarette company Juul Labs and tobacco giant Altria Group started to be dispersed this week, and many consumers say that they received a lot more money than they expected. The class action settlement reached over claims that the two companies misled customers about the addictiveness of their nicotine products as well as their marketing to minors was announced in 2022. So they literally marketed to kids with like bubblegum flavor and stuff like that. What's interesting though is that these are the companies that like were in, well, I hesitate to say that. So hold on a second.
Is there overlap with the tobacco industry?
Yeah, that's what Yeah, American Corporation, one of the largest producers and marketers of tobacco is Altria. So these are the same companies that promoted tobacco, and then when vaping, which you can do very easily without going to Jewel Labs. And you can buy all of the stuff referred to as juice and whatever. I mean, I used to be part of that, not like selling it or anything like that, but I used to be investigating that because it helped me get people off of cigarettes. And so the idea was, okay, you've brought it home, kind of like home brewing, right? Brought it home, they're in control now, and they can increase the diversity and be able to control how much they imbibe or inhale. But everybody was blasting it, right? All of the tobacco companies and these proxies were blasting it. And then suddenly, all of the complaints just kind of fell away. And lo and behold, guess who is in charge of vaping?
Well, tobacco.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably didn't like the competition, so they
hammered it until they could actually pivot themselves into owning the very market. So I found it really interesting to watch this go down. So MarketWatch spoke with several people who received a payment this week as part of the Juul settlement, who reported receiving between $60 and $600. Some recipients took to social media and reported even higher settlement payments, with one posting a screenshot for as much as $9,000.
Wow. I mean, certainly don't wish on anybody if they have health problems from it, but that is a significant class action payment.
So the article contains several people who represented that they received X, Y, and Z. But it says, and while the money is nice to receive, he, being Munir, a person who posted that they had gotten hundreds of dollars, he said it's also a reminder that Juul is paying people for a reason. I'm not currently getting nicotine replacement therapy and counseling because of this, he said. I was not a cigarette smoker prior and was absolutely the victim of good marketing. So how exactly were the Juul payments calculated? They say here, though the details have not been released, there is a correlation for Juul users based on how much money they spent on products with their settlement. The payments were sent through a variety of ways. Some claim to have received a payment via PayPal, Venmo, virtual prepaid debit card. Reps for Altria, which formerly owned a stake in Juul before exiting in 2023, declined to comment. Juul Labs said that it was pleased to have resolved the vast majority of the company's past legal issues. Both companies have denied any wrongdoing. That's how that works. Denying it doesn't mean that you weren't, and you capitulated because it was
paying
economically
millions of dollars, right?
Yeah. Yet somehow you know that, and I said this in my last episode, in our last episode, but you weren't available. That you know that the punishment didn't outstrip the profits.
Well, exactly.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have bent the knee. Anyway, so there you go, folks. If honestly, I don't know how they actually calculated this. Weston Blasey, by the way, is the one that put the article together over at marketwatch.com. Let's keep going. Next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Amazon's upcoming discount store will reportedly sell $20 sofas.
Are they for people?
Yeah. All the jewelry will be capped at $8, bedding at $9, guitars at $13. Well, I mean, they're probably made of an extraordinary material, only found in faraway lands.
Paper.
Duo Rashid over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. All the jewelry will be capped at $8. You know, it's real. Real whatever. Real. So the list of items totaled 700. Some price caps include $8 for jewelry, $9 for bedding, $13 for guitars, and $20 for sofas. I'm going to buy 200 sofas and then just sprinkle them liberally around the mayoral mansion. What? Oh, they're very exotic. The products will be shipped from a fulfillment center in Guangdong, China. That's awesome. Reportedly, the shipping timelines will be around 9 to 11 days, and the sellers will be charged between $1.77 and $2.05 for shipping a 4 to 8 ounce item from the center.
Oh, I was going to say, how do they ship a sofa for that cost? But they don't.
The information, which is where it's sourced from, compares these figures to $2.67 and to $4.16, the fee that sellers pay for shipping items of the same weight from local warehouses under fulfillment by Amazon. That's because of what's referred to as a managed economy. Say it with me, kids. Managed economy. Managed economy. By the way, I can, if you have trouble enunciating words in English, I offer a service. No, I don't. Anyway, you can expect to pay $20. What can you expect for a $20 sofa? Poor aesthetics and a flimsy build is what's typed in here. Though they're often stuffed with toxic levels of lead as an unethical shortcut to enhance the colors, add some heft, and make them resistant to corrosion, this makes the thought of a $13 guitar way more concerning than it sounds. Temu and Shine haven't just made Amazon feel insecure with their explosive success. Last year, TikTok responded to the competition by launching an in-app shopping function exclusively for the US to sell cheap Chinese-made products.
Wow, this article is really sparing no detail.
Oh yeah, and they mentioned Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act in the article as well. The select committee highlighted in a report that Temu sends millions of shipments to the U.S. every year containing products made by Uyghur Muslims under forced labor. Yeah. Pretty rough. All right. Can't really say much. I mean, that's like ringing the bell kind of stuff right here.
So I'm not sure the cost savings are worth all the health hazards and labor issues and
the ethical, moral, and health-related matters.
Exactly.
Let's move on. Next article. I mean, we're not going to move on because we're not going to be buying from these things. In fact, I actually look at some of the vendors when I buy stuff from Amazon and go, no, when it's available, but it's not always available until after I purchase it. And I find out that it's made of something that tells me that it can handle 60 pounds of pressure, but then doesn't. Anyway.
I think Amazon should clearly mark country of origin, and I don't think they do.
Well, they'll just proxy it over to Amazon.
That's true.
And
but I mean, some you can tell are not, but
yeah,
it's too hidden, I think.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things right now where the metal feels like not quite real. I'm like, this is like metallized plastic, not metal. Anyway, a world without password a world without passwords is in sight. So passkeys are a new kind of credential that you can use to sign into a new web account or to web accounts without the use of a password. Apple thinks 249 of my passwords need attention. Some of them have been reused. Some of them have been caught up in data breaches. Some are just bad passwords. Yeah, because the passwords app and passwords beforehand has always kind of parsed through that. So the author here is saying that 249 of their passwords kind of gives me a clue about how engaged in tech they are, because that's just a fraction of what they've got. I know the feeling. So that's why for the last 11 years, a group called FIDO Alliance has been working to kill passwords, or at least make us less reliant on them. FIDO is short for Fast Identity Online. Wants to make signing into your accounts not only more secure, but passwordless. Thanks to passkeys, you may not need to remember a password ever again. This article is over at Vox. Adam Clark Estes, put the article together. And yeah, you can now log in to certain sites using the camera on an iPad or iPhone.
So it's basically biometrics?
Yeah. Yep. So your identity, there's certain metrics that are stored locally only, and they're not distributed to anybody, and it can authorize or deauthorize access. even to a website or an app or whatever. But usually it was app bound. I logged into an account today using just my face.
Whoa.
And only through the web, not through an app. There was no proxy. It was nothing more than the website. So whether you realize it or not, FIDO's efforts have already transformed the way you sign into everything online. You may have noticed a few years ago, for instance, that a lot more sites are starting to require something called multi-factor authentication, which adds an extra step to the login process, like texting a code to your phone so the site can verify you. But that actually has a weakness. Anybody can do a SIM clone. You just have to have a co-conspirator. It's very, very, very illegal. But that was FIDO's doing. But after years of making logging in more difficult but more secure, the Alliance recently began a major push to get platforms and people alike to adapt or adopt a technology that may just kill passwords altogether, and those are called passkeys. They're a new kind of credential that you can use to sign into a web account without the use of a password. This new authentication standard is making passwords irrelevant by introducing a new, simpler, but more secure workflow. There's a logo and everything. So
it sounds better. Is there a drawback?
There might be some friction, but I haven't actually looked into this yet. This new authentication standard is making passwords irrelevant by introducing this idea of apparently encrypted files. You can think of passkeys as two encrypted files, one on your end and one on the website's end, that open up access to your account when one matches the other, much like a key and a lock. Passkeys can't be copied or spoofed, and they can't be phished because it's literally you. So once you've set up a passkey for our website, you can sign in the same way, with your face, your fingerprint, or a PIN. The process is so quick and familiar, you may already be using passkeys on sites like Google and Amazon. Pretty soon, passkeys could be all you use. Now, yeah, I haven't actually looked into this, so we don't need to worry about what the problem is.
I was just thinking with like the collection of your biometric data or something.
So from the user's point of view, the passkey process is pretty easy. You just log on to the old-fashioned way with a passcode, password, whatever, and then the website or platform will ask if you want to set up a passkey. If you do, it will generate those two files, the lock and key, if you will, that make up the passkey. It will also prompt you to unlock your phone with your face, fingerprint, PIN, or swipe pattern, depending on your preference, and the passkey will then be associated with that device and stored in the cloud or in your password manager. And the next time you go to log in, the site will go and check if you've got a passkey that fits the lock. If so, unlock your device and you're right in. Takes maybe 2 seconds. It's basically the Face ID stuff.
Right, that smartphones use.
Yeah, except that it's going to be standardized so that you can deploy it on a website. So there you go. You are literally the password. As long as there's no man in the middle where it's grabbing the content that is shared, then there's no way. But one thing is local and only local, and one thing is on their side, only on their side. And the only thing that's exchanged is something saying that it's okay. I've been verified. They say the other issue here is that while people can remember passwords in their heads, passkeys really need passkey managers. Because most new devices come with a password manager built in, this is actually not that big of a deal. Password managers are also passkey managers. So you don't have to worry about these long cryptographically complex passwords. Or because what I promote people doing is passphrases, which are much more unique and not limited. You can have them really long. Some architectures, though, don't allow you to have a 25 letter or whatever password.
Right.
I actually had, back in the day, I had one service that would truncate the password. You would make it 15 characters, but it would truncate it at 8. But then allow you to try and log in with your full long password. So you're typing in your 15-letter password and it says it's wrong. because in the database, it had truncated the password at 8 characters.
Oh, no.
So after talking with them, they fixed it. This was back 20 years ago plus.
I think
Anyway.
the thing that sounds concerning with passkeys, other than if your data is taken, is like if anybody else in your household or anything like that would use it, like, are they really going to have to go get the other person and go, would you log in or whatever?
Yes.
Like, it just seems like there are some practical limitations.
Yeah, first, you should never let anybody else access your account. So I have to discount that one. And yes, it's more secure because it requires your Face ID to log in. Because even if you log in locally, the password, if the account is set up to use pass keys, you would have to identify. So.
But also, what if you have some sort of injury or something, and so then it doesn't recognize you? Like, how in the world are you going to get that reset?
You would probably have to go through a process to recertify your identity in some way. It's interesting. Yeah, we'll have to look at all of this. They actually have a list of the major websites that support passkeys, but you can follow the link through ohmTown, and the show notes take you to ohmTown, and ohmTown takes you to our sources that we talk about for the show. So give it a shot. We only keep a little tidbit of this, and then we direct you. Visit the source, sends you to our source. But one of us or both of us have some type of a relationship with the conversation. We have some experience. So. Let's keep going. The next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. That's one of our shows on the weekend, by the way, so be sure to follow us so that you're informed when we go live. Ford Bronco sales slide unconcerning to dealers after 2 years of markups. So U.S. sales of the Bronco SUV are down 16%. And I can't really do much about this article because it's behind a hard paywall. So this deck statement is about as far as we're going to go, but I'll still promote.
It'll still be
our
enough
source
for conversation.
Yeah, but dealers and analysts say that it's a function of supply and demand finally normalizing. Yes, 2 years after the pandemic normalizing. It's not greed at all. Has nothing to do with greed. And accessories and other add-ons remain lucrative. They always have. They're even more lucrative now because, this artificial scarcity bullshit. So Michael Martinez over at automotivenews.com or autonews.com put the article together. And the deck statement is that little snippet. U.S. sales of Bronco SUV are down 16% this year, but dealers really don't care because they've been making money hand over fist because they put it on the window, save $16,000 off the $125,000 price that they've jacked it up to.
Yeah, it's gotten a bit out of control if it's in the thousands for the savings.
Yeah, I really like that. The Bronco, though. I like the 2-door Bronco more than the 4-door Bronco, but the 4-door Bronco affords the ability to not have to get out of the car to let 2 to 3 adults in the car. I am not 16 years old anymore, hanging out with my buds and not caring. I want to get into my own door and sit in my own seat without crawling over.
And not have to contort yourself into some difficult position to get in and out.
That's right. So yeah, they say that it's been tough in this article right here. From its sales numbers, the Ford Bronco is having a tough 2024. It's not because they're more expensive to produce. It's because...
Yes, it's a self-made problem, right?
Correct. Yeah. So take that. If the raw materials suppliers are raising their price up and they're blaming inflation, I swear I really want to do this. And I'm sure that there's somebody out there that's doing this right now because I've brought it up several weeks ago. But you need to pick something. Maybe we can talk about it and we can pick something. Not today, but we need to pick something. And then I can burrow from that at the retail location and follow it all the way down to the raw producer of the material, who's going to say, and I guarantee it, well, I raised my prices because things got more expensive. Okay, what was it that became more expensive to you. And they're going to go, well, eggs. Okay, let's follow the chain of custody of the value of eggs. They're now $4.50. By the way, some eggs are $4.50. Some other ones, they're usually smaller and maybe lower quality. They're $2.60, but they are what they are. Anyway, so now you follow the eggs all the way to the supplier. And I guarantee you, there's one supplier that produced those really expensive eggs. And they're a mega corporation. And they knew that everybody was basically being held by the eggs. And they squeezed.
Were the eggs holding them hostage? It sounds like it.
Well, eggs is slang here for something else, but I'll just leave that. Anyway, so yeah, at some point it trickles all the way back down to the supplier that raised their prices. At some point in the circle of economic life. All right, let's move on. Next article is over on the Mobile Channel. American Airlines is cracking down on flyers who cut the boarding line. I think that everybody in the boarding line should be given a cattle prod. And if anybody tries to jump the line, you...
My goodness.
I don't mess around. This problem needs to be solved. Although...
Well, I was going to say, that would solve the problem pretty fast.
The weirdest one that I've recently bore witness to was somebody who shouldn't have been in that seat, sitting in that seat. And they shouldn't have been where they were sitting. And at the end, because I was like, well, I'm not going to be that person. But sure enough, that woman's husband was way back there. And they didn't switch. So it's not like they were sharing one seat, right?
Right.
No. So, yeah. And we know who, was in charge of that relationship.
The one who was in the higher class seats.
Yeah. So American Airlines is going to start tasering people. Let's see. The article's over in the QZ.com website. Ben Kesslin put the article together. New technology is being tested in Arizona, New Mexico, and Washington, D.C., which seems to be where they always test stuff, I think. What was that other? There was something else, like a Face ID thing where you could walk through and they would scan your face.
Well, you could scan yourself? Is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah. Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? I'm scanning myself. Put your pants back on, sir. I'm shy. So the airline is testing new technology that'll make it harder for a passenger to board before their group is called. How about harder to board because they've pretended to be a 16-year-old girl?
Well, yeah.
I think you should stop there and don't worry. I mean, everybody's going to get boarded. No, I mean, not everybody's going to get boarded. TSA is getting really hard for her.
That does not sound good.
But like when somebody comes and scans their thing, they need to wait and then go. But that's not what happens.
Exactly.
They're like, scan, go, scan, go. Scan, doot. You're not allowed to. This isn't your boarding time. But
well,
they're
if
not
they
going to
start having repeated problems, just don't allow them to fly.
There you go. Put them on a no-fly list. It's the asshole subcategory. There's like terrorist, maladaptive person, and then there's just asshole. I mean, you can have a strata. The technology is supposed to be to help the boarding process be faster and more efficient. But it says if a passenger tries to board before the group is called, the new software would alert gate agents with a sound and allow them to direct the passenger to wait. It does that now. It goes beep and even shows them, okay, beep. They're looking at a screen. They even
break up parties that are traveling together that don't have the right order.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I saw that actually happen. They're like, beep. Oh no, you have to go back to the ticketing agent. What? They had a boarding pass and they said it wasn't valid. they had come together, a husband and wife. The guy actually turned back to me and said, "What did she say?" And I said, "Dude, your wife is going all the way back to the ticketing agent." And he goes, "Okay." He went on, and I'm like, "Well, have fun in Jamaica." All right, let's keep going. So the next article is over in Technology Today. Chirping smoke detectors light a fire in a startup founder to build ultimate online guide to the devices. At the end of his wits and mitts, Adam Doppelt attends to a smoke detector in his Seattle home. False alarms from the devices are the chief complaint in online reviews. So the middle of the night chirp from a smoke detector might be the most unsettling sound a homeowner has to deal with. Where's that coming from? Is that a fire? Did I replace the batteries? Yeah, been there. Oh, geez, dude, you're kind of scary. So Kurt Schlosser over at geekwire.com put the article together. No, I can't. However cool you're being as a informer of technology, that's scary. That's a scary picture to me. So they experienced that bolt from the bed panic enough times over the years that he finally decided to do something about it. I've never had it like that. I mean, when it goes off, it's because something set it off. I've never had an accidental misfire of an alarm.
No, just like a low battery or something.
Yeah, and that's just the chirp. That's not full on going off in the middle of the night, panic and run kind of a thing.
No, but it can be really loud. But I agree, it's clearly not an actual, hey, this is going off.
So Doppelt, who previously founded startups including Urban Spoon, Dwellable, Fresh Chalk, and Blueprint AI, had time on his hands. He was between things, consulting, contracting, maybe about to start something new, and he turned to an old list of potential side projects. E-bikes, don't do it. AI for spreadsheets, it's called AI. Smoke detectors. It's just a thing that are interesting. I'm an engineer. There's no marketing. There's no CEO. I'm just working on things that are fun and often pointless. Smoke detectors tripped Doppelt's radar because of the many bad experiences he's had with them. What kind of places are you living,
Maybe
bro?
in an old residence or something with old detectors.
What does he have a smelter in his living room that is going off so frequently? I don't get it. I don't get it. Not because of house fires, but because things are always seem to malfunction. I don't think so. How many people are getting misfiring smoke detectors?
How old are those detectors?
My goodness. So when you read Amazon reviews, false alarms swamp everything, he said. You know that what you never see on Amazon, my house burned down, but you will see 5,000 reviews and 500 of them saying this thing won't stop false alarming. Yeah, you might want to look at what it's made of, where it's made.
And yeah, exactly. Is that from Temu or something?
Yeah, Temu fire alarms. There's no reviews because the people that burn up in the fires of their house don't get to complain. 100% perfect working. Anyway, in terms of the prose that I write, the articles, or Doppelt actually writes, this information is just kind of not available online. It's not easy to find. And so I felt like AI might not even know some of this stuff. And even if it doesn't, it's going to hallucinate. So the internet doesn't really know.
I don't think you want to rely on that for safety matters.
Yeah, don't rely on AI for safety. Don't sit there. If you're a surgeon, don't go, how do I do brain surgery?
Which syringe do I use?
There's a piece of software. Oh boy. So he said he and Krieg, who is Krieg? I don't know. Built Fireball in the same crawling vein as previous startups such as Urban Spoon and Dwellable, which Urban Spoon I've heard of. I don't know how successful it was, and Dwellable, I don't know. I don't remember that one. Anyway, where they wrote code to go and fetch things and then normalized the data, cleaned it up, and presented it. So, okay. Are they part of that thing that where everybody's like, oh, you're making money off of the work of everybody else?
Maybe, but I don't know. It just seems like they're kind of like hopping from one project to the other.
Yeah, I guess maybe they're not getting to the point where they're... Hold on, I want to see something. So Urban Spoon was a restaurant information and recommendation service founded in 2006. And it went defunct 9 years later. That's okay. Well, I guess they acquired it. A company acquired it in 2015. So I don't even know if it's still around. I didn't type in Urban Spoon in the browser though. And as for Dwellable, I guess I could go to the site. Dwellable? Is it Dwellable Homes or Dwellable.world? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe Dwellable World. At any rate, I don't know. I think the quality of your gosh, that face just scares me. Okay, I'm going to move on because technology today is where the next article is. And a Scottish children's hospital now has a gamer in residence to play games with kids. And I would love that job.
What an awesome job. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think I'm going to go to the nearest healthcare facility outside of ohmTown and offer up my services as a gamer in residence. But they'll probably look at me and go, look, old man, we're probably going to have to service you the first time one of these kids kicks your ass. And I'm going to have to respond with, yeah, you're right. So a children's hospital in Scotland now has a gamer in residence in what's said to be the first in the UK and Ireland. Stephen Mayer, the first person to take on the full-time role, will play games with kids at the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow. As with other gaming-related charitable efforts at the children's hospitals, the aim is to help patients relax and minimize feelings of boredom and isolation, while offering them a sense of escapism. Studies have indicated that playing games can help reduce the procedural pain and anxiety of pediatric patients, and I am pretty sure it works with kids of all ages. If you still like games as an adult, this would probably help. Chris Holt is the author of this article over at Engadget.com, and they have a cool picture of I think they're playing Nintendo Switch. Yeah, they are. And let's see here. So the charity established the Gamer in Residence position, Glasgow Children's Hospital charity. And with the help of partners Devolver Digital and Neon Hive, after raising over £100,000 or $129,000 last year through efforts such as Scottish Game Sale on Steam for a campaign called Games for the Weens. Weens is a Scottish word for kids. I might be pronouncing it incorrectly. Watch it. It's like Games for the Kids. But
exactly.
It's spelled W-E-A-N-S. So meanwhile, a $12,000 donation from Child's Play earlier this year will help fund the replacement of older Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 systems with hospital-adapted consoles. So awesome. When the gamer in residence came around to play Mario on the Nintendo, he immediately lit up and smiled. It was an instant energy boost for him mentally and physically. In reality, I think often that what kids want is some quality time and gaming with new friends. Yep.
This is really cool.
Yep. And that's how I know the co-host is a sentient AI. So meanwhile, Extra Life's Game Day, an event which gamers and communities raise funds for Children's Hospital, takes place on November 2nd. And you can sign up to take part or make a donation over at the Extra Life website. And a lot of people actually take part in Extra Life. Streamers, gamers, YouTubers, all facilitate Extra Life, and it's supposed to be a lot of fun. And I've watched a lot of people take part in this, and I think it's an important ongoing thing. And every hospital should have a gamer in residence, and it should scale. If you've got a lot of patients in your hospital, get more than one gamer in residence. A lot of people will donate their time to get their ass kicked by kids with faster Twitch responses. I have no problem flipping a gurney if they're on their bed. I will. That's what I'll do. They kick my butt, and I'll just. No. So that's awesome. Good for them, and I hope that spreads. All right, let's keep going. So the last article for today is in the Mobile channel. Goldfish Crackers rebrands for adults with fancy sounding name. That's Chilean sea bass to you, in case any insecure adults were self-conscious about chowing down on a snack that's often found in a child's lunchbox. Goldfish opted to make a temporary change to its name. Beginning on Wednesday for 1 week only, Pepperidge Farm's cute little cheddar snack cracker will henceforth be known as Chilean sea bass.
You know, they think the adults want to sound fancy, but kids there's so many foodie kids that maybe the kids want this.
See, but I titled this the other way. I don't want to grow up. Me eating goldfish.
I don't think there's any problem with adults eating goldfish crackers. Okay, that was pretty funny. Was that even planned?
No. I have that right there just in case, because I don't really eat much. And like 5 of those out of that bag, it's enough to tide me over. So a little bit of snacking. So it's come to our attention that some people think goldfish crackers are just for kids. Hell no, they're not. A man says in a new commercial, well, what if we call them Chilean sea bass? They look just like goldfish. They taste just like goldfish, except that they're Chilean sea bass.
That's weird.
So, cheddar-covered Chilean sea bass baked snack crackers is going to be the new name of Pepperidge Farms, because I can't remember. So Goldfish is attempting to woo adults by changing nothing about its product and instead opting for a temporary name update. Paige Gawley over at Vice.com put the article together. But if they don't sell it under Goldfish, do they lose their trademark and thus...
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I don't know. Hopefully they have Goldfish written somewhere on there.
Right there.
Do they?
Yeah. Adult sounding name, same Goldfish trademark taste.
Oh, okay, good. Because I mean, it's fun, but you'd hate for them to be harmed by doing something fun.
They saw the writing on the walls there. So there's a video that you can watch over at the Vice.com article. Paige Gawley again is the author of this, and yeah, it's a temporary name change. They're changing the name of Goldfish to Chilean sea bass to woo adults. This is nothing more. This is not to woo adults. This is just to stay in the consciousness.
Stay current and relevant, and exactly.
I
think it's fun.
I love it. So as a playful reminder, we went ahead and gave our iconic cheddar cracker a new, fun, grown-up name. Brown added to the New York Post, Chilean sea bass is a playful nod to adults that the iconic fish-shaped snack is for grown-up tastes too. Then Brown told Food and Wine, a reminder to nostalgia-loving younger generations, quote, who grew up with goldfish, that the fish-shaped snack made with 100% real cheddar baked goodness is still a go-to choice.
I don't think people need the article to tell them that. They just need a pack of goldfish or Chilean sea bass.
Can you hear the crunching? I hope not.
Yes. Goldfish ASMR.
Oh no. Now I got
I thought you were
goldfish.
doing that intentionally so people would appreciate that it's crunchy.
Chilean sea bass. All right, folks. The new name is also a callback to Goldfish Origins. The cracker was originally meant to be a bar snack for adults, the outlet reported. Interesting.
I didn't know that.
So the company previously released Old Bay Dill Pickle and Frank's Red Hot flavors to woo over the 18 crowd. Woo the over 18 crowd. So, I guess. Wait. What was this other thing? Per the outlet, the temporary name change is a nod to the girl dinner TikTok trend. The viral sensation sees Gen Zers and millennials opt for snack items for the nighttime meal instead of a traditional entree.
Yeah, like some crackers or something like that.
Gen Zers and millennials?
Well, I think some other generations do that too.
I think a lot of people do that. This is just some more marketing, but hey, I know that everybody can hear that bag opening, so all right, we're out of here. So I'm gonna tuck into this bag of Chilean sea bass, and that's gonna bring us back to the front page of ohmTown. And I am Merwat, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer that may not have been working this entire period.
Oh, you're right.
It has not.
I did not notice that. Well, good night, ohmTown citizens. I'm very sluggish today, apparently, based on my visualizer. Have a good evening, and we'll have another episode for you tomorrow.
See you soon. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, if we don't have one for tomorrow, we'll definitely have a time machine coming up.
On Friday, yeah. It depends on if I'm available. So, see you hopefully tomorrow. See if we can get it all done. Okay, bye-bye.